Freddie.
We absolutely do.
And it's a hot one out
I know. You took the words right out of my mouth. I'm looking behind us like, looks hot out there.
Yeah, you can just like feel the pavement, the heat coming off the pavement. Yeah, it's hot for a couple more days, but we have big changes coming up.
Okay, all right, we'll get to it in just a minute, but first we begin with more mold issues at Alamance Burlington Schools. It seems like this is an everyday occurrence. District leaders now say it found toxic forms of mold in 16 total schools.
Despite nearly 30 campuses being impacted by mold, the first day back is still planned for next Monday. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake has more on the district's next steps.
So students were supposed to head back to school in Alamance County today, but widespread mold remediation pushed the start date back to next Monday. The district announced this second delay this past weekend. Today, during a county commissioner meeting, an announcement was made that now 16 schools have been found to have toxic mold inside. Here's a list of all of those schools right now. We have Everett, Jordan, Broadway, Broadview, Cummings, Eastern High, East Lawn, E.M. Holt, Graham High, Grove Park, Hall River, North Graham, Pleasant Grove, Southern High, Sylvan, Ray Street Academy, Western Alamance, and Woodlawn. It is a mouthful, guys. The district is once again asking county commissioners for more money to clean up the mold.
We have heard the public outcry of all kinds, but I stand before you today knowing that in the long run, we, the commissioners and the Board of Education, will have done the right thing for Alamance County's taxpayers. As of this morning, 29 schools are undergoing remediation, and sadly, we're up to 16 campuses where we have discovered toxigenic mold that I've spoke about, which requires additional funding to correct.
Now, because of the start date being pushed back, the school system offered free meals for students in the county today. The district says they're going to serve more meals tomorrow at Andrews, Newland, Elon, Southeast, and First United Methodist Church from 11 to 1. The mold remediation for these schools cost nearly $17 million. The district said it's hiring around 2,000 contractors to help with the cleanup.
Amber, thank you. In case you missed it, ABSS created a dashboard so you can track the mold issues across the district. It shows which schools are currently being worked on, which ones have toxic mold, and the schools that have been cleared. You can find it on the district's website.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. Today, a grand jury in Orange County indicted the man accused in the UNC shooting. Taylor Chi was indicted for first-degree murder, accused of killing Professor Ji Jin Yen. The DA has previously promised to not seek the death penalty in any case while in office.
An investigation continues today after a body was found by campus police at NC State. Leaders say campus police were called to Sullivan Hall yesterday evening. They found a deceased student outside the building. At this time, the student has not been identified and the cause of death is unknown. NC State's chancellor sent out a message to students reminding them of the resources available as they process the loss of their classmate.
People opposed to a proposed Rockingham County casino gathered at the state capitol today to make sure lawmakers knew where they stood. You'll remember county commissioners recently voted to rezone land in the county, which could be used to build a casino. Opponents argue it could have a negative impact on the area, while supporters are focused on the financial impacts. We'll hear from both sides, including Senator Phil Berger, tonight at 5.
Well, we've seen the hot weather out there, and it's going to be with us for a couple of days, that's for sure. You look at the readings that we're seeing right now, and look at that Burlington 95, High Point 94, Greensboro 92, a string of 90s for Asheboro, Lexington, and Wilkesboro. We talked about this heat, said it was on the way, and here it is. We do drop to the 80s. We think that'll happen as early as 7 p.m., then to the 70s by about 11 o'clock tonight, with overnight lows probably only making it to the low 70s, at least at this point. We'll see some of that change, but we may need a few days to get there. We're fairly clear right now with the ridge of high pressure. You can see a little bit of a disturbance back to our west there. Not a whole lot really. It's some of the rain developing ahead of a cold front that'll be moving in our direction, but we stay with the heat as we head into Wednesday. Notice as that cold front gets closer though, rain chances start to go up a little bit. We finally will get a 20 or a 30% chance as we go into the second half of the work week, and then another chance into the weekend. However, that cooler air behind the cold front eventually getting here, and it is kind of a game changer for us. Watching this one system out in the tropics, and this is something we'll keep our eye on. It is, for now, still just kind of an area of disturbed weather or tropical depression number 13, but you look at these spaghetti models, and yeah, this is something we'll have to watch. It should become Tropical Storm Lee within the next 24 hours or less, but some of these models take it out to a Category 4. Now, this is way early for us to make any predictions with this, but it's something we'll be watching heading into next week. Low 90s for the next 2 days. Best rain chance Friday, Saturday, 40%. We're back to the mid 80s as we go to Friday, Saturday, and low 80s, rather comfortable, going into Monday and Tuesday. Well, it's amazing what true friendship can develop into. Now, that's the case with a Burlington man named Greg Lunsford, who took his comedic skills and musical talents to the next level to raise money to help a friend battling cancer. That was years ago. Now that event has grown into an amazing thing, and it's all powered by his friends who together form a band called the Fabulous Lumpsters. Take a look. Greg, thanks for being with us today. So I love this idea because you know me, I love performing. And tell me the history behind this event.
Back in 1988, I was asked to serve as entertainment for a fundraiser. A friend of ours had cancer, and the community was going to gather around this individual. I was asked specifically to be in charge of entertainment for that event. And so I called my buddy Bill Pinson. We put together a small group of songs, and off we went. Last time we played was 2017, and because of COVID, we didn't play. And then I lost my best friend and co-founder, frontman, Billy Pinson. He passed away in June of 22. So we weren't sure if we would ever play again. But based on the support from the community and a general need for closure, we thought that we would play a tribute concert to Billy and hope that it would be received well and we'd raise a lot of money for a local charity.
So Greg, what does it look like? Describe this event and what people can expect this go around.
We become the singers of the band. We are the band. We change costumes. This coming concert, there's 25 songs, and I've got 14 different changes of costumes. We have been Kiss. We have been the Blues Brothers. We have been Marshall Tucker. We have been ZZ Top. We have been Leonard Skinner.
So is this going to keep going on and on? Do you see a future with it?
This is our 35th year, and I don't know how many more years we'll actually play. I am conscious of the fact that we've brought some youth into our show this time, so there will eventually be a passing of the torch. I don't know when that'll be. I'm still taking my Geritol and my Bengay, and so I'm good to go for another 100,000 miles.
Greg, I'm planning to be there. I got to be there to see this, but I appreciate you taking time today. Good luck.
Wow.
Yeah, he's awesome. So this event is Friday night, by the way. We'll have information on our website in just a few minutes, but it's in downtown Burlington. All the proceeds help cancer care in Alamance County. And with this event, they have raised nearly $1 million in 35 years. And then currently they're at about $87,000 for this event alone. So he said we might be able to approach $90,000 to $100,000 before Friday.
Dressing up in the bands
Yes.
as well too. The Kiss one was really cool as well. I mean, that has to be so
costume
fun.
changes.
I mean, wow.
That's
That's more than probably most every musician who performs
Yes.
any sort of concert of anywhere.
So it's
Yeah.
a big group. It looks like there's like 8 or 9 or 10 people. So 2 may sing a song while 2 are running off and change it. It's a
okay.
whole thing.
To keep the show going.
Yes,
huh?
yes, but it all raises money for cancer in honor of his friend who they lost years
Wow,
ago.
that's
So
incredible.
That's
very
beautiful.
cool.
We'll be
All right,
right
we'll take a
back.
break.
Americans have traveled in record numbers over the summer. TSA reports it's screened more than 227 million people since Memorial Day, and that's just those who walk through the airports.
Yeah, even though it's still summer, experts say now's the time to look ahead to travel later this year.
Courtney Pullman is leaving Chicago for her long Labor Day trip to the Dominican Republic while trying something new. She's already booked her Christmas trip to Paris.
I was watching flights and they're cheap, so I bought them.
She's definitely ahead of the pack.
We're a last-minute family.
The week before.
Yeah.
You know you end up paying more when you do that, though.
Yeah.
Late September.
Yeah.
That's about when.
Because you only have 2 months before, 2 to 3 months before you can even go online.
The
And
idea is to get your reservation 2 months out as far as pricing is concerned.
Denise and Leroy Fletcher have the right idea, say travel experts. They say just as the record-breaking summer travel season is ending, it is time to start watching for holiday travel deals.
You want to book both holidays by October 14th.
Haley Berg is the lead economist at airfare tracker Hopper.
It's the sweet spot, and you should book both Thanksgiving and Christmas travel, not just Thanksgiving. Often we wait too long to book Christmas travel and miss out on the best prices.
Airfares have been on the decline, falling 11 of the last 14 months. Hopper says domestic flights averaged $226 round trip for Labor Day, down 11% from last year and down 20% from 2019. Flights to Europe are coming in around $1,130, down from last year, but up from 2019.
This holiday season, we are expecting the international airfare will remain higher than pre-pandemic levels. So for those travelers who typically do an international getaway over the holidays, we might recommend looking at domestic or more regional routes that are going to be a bit less expensive.
When hunting for the best deals, experts recommend flexibility on the days you travel and the destination. Avoid booking on traditionally busy days and consider checking other nearby airports.
Wow. So you have been flying within the past few months as well too. I mean, how was the crowds when you were kind of at the airports? A lot of big crowds over there?
I think it seems fine. It probably all depends on the days that you travel. Like I imagine, they were warning about yesterday trying to fly on Labor Day.
Right.
I imagine that is the crazy day to do it. But one thing that I recently started doing through Orbitz, and I'm sure other websites do this too, but you can set alerts for specific flights that you want.
Okay.
So like I had set Wisconsin flights home for Christmas, and it alerts you every time the price changes and then by how much it changes. So sometimes I'll get an alert saying your flight is down $95 from what it was yesterday.
And you got to hop on it. Yeah, I had a friend, she visited me from Kansas this past weekend, and I think she had an app similar. It wasn't that specific one, but I remember her checking back at the different prices to make sure. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
It's worth it because flights are expensive.
Right, and I know when I was looking at flights for home, if it's a world of difference if you fly on Christmas than if you fly on the 26th, because nobody wants to fly on Christmas.
Yes.
It was half the price.
Was it
if
really?
you want to fly on Christmas, and then double the price if you want to fly the day after.
You could fly Christmas night, maybe, like take a red eye or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, another hot topic. Airplane etiquette. Some say that we are boarding planes the wrong way. New studies show there's a quicker way to get everyone seated for takeoff.
Research shows how we currently board airplanes is not the most efficient and actually makes the process longer. Let's connect the dots. Several studies show boarding window seats first, and then middle seats, and then aisle seats would be the quickest way to get everybody on board. But that is not what happens. Airline companies have raised billions of dollars off their loyalty programs, and one perk almost all of them have means people who pay get to board early, no matter where they're seated. Some airlines, like Southwest, say they're trying to do something about making boarding a little shorter. Southwest says it's all in the turnaround time. Right now, they're trying to take an average of 2 minutes off the time it takes you to get on the plane by getting it all cleaned up from the last flight quicker. But as far as getting back that 10 minutes that it used to take to get everybody on board back in the 1970s, that will be reserved for the folks willing to fork up a little extra cash. And that is connecting the dots.
You know, something that I often think about when I travel is, and people will say it, you will hear them say it when you're waiting in line, is why don't they start boarding the back of the plane
The back first.
Yep.
And I mean, I understand when it comes to first class, Delta Comfort Plus, that kind of stuff, you want to be on the plane so you can get your drinks and get settled and just be able to hang out. But I mean, it would make more sense in my perspective to start from the back of the plane first.
It would, but I do think, you know, the little children thing and people with special needs that have certain things, yes, get them on first. But you're right, I've never really understood it. But it all comes down to money, it always does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody's paying first class prices, those are really expensive.
And they were saying, correct me if I'm wrong, do the window seats first or something, and then go to the middle, and then go to the aisle next. What do you think about that?
That window and then what you said. So everybody in the window in the back third or whatever those rows are come in first. That would be
the only thing that there would be an issue with that is if you're flying with someone and they're the window and you're the aisle.
Oh yeah.
Can you not board with them?
No,
because it's the windows first. You know, like would you have to wait even though you're traveling with a husband or wife or family or whatever? So you've got that too.
We always have issues where if they can't put, because if there's 4 of us, like if the twins aren't traveling, it's just the 4 of us, and we're 2 and 2, and then but sometimes they put us like it's
random
me
places.
and Leslie, and then we can't have them alone. So we have to offer barter with people.
One thing I did when I flew Silver Airways a few weeks ago, they do board from the back of the plane, but they literally use their back door.
Oh, that's
so you're not boarding in the front of the plane, you're boarding in the back of the plane.
Okay.
So maybe they're onto something, yeah.
That has to be a quick way to do that.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll see you in a couple minutes. That's a little bit toasty out there, isn't it, today? We're seeing 92 degrees at the airport in Greensboro. Look at all the current condition symbols, though. All across North and South Carolina and most of Virginia, we're seeing all the sun symbols, or maybe just mostly sunny. Really nice out there from a sky condition standpoint. Yep, it's a little warm, though. Columbia 94, Wilmington 94, and even Richmond, Virginia is at 96 degrees right now. So the lows tonight around 70. We'll see clear skies. It'll be fairly warm. Tomorrow, another high of 92 and lots of sunshine. So the heat and humidity stay for a couple days. I want to show you this as we go out to our wide shot here. Notice there is a little bit of instability back to the west. That's a cold front that eventually will get here. But until then, yeah, we'll kind of cook a little bit under that dome of high pressure. That'll stay that way for the next couple days, and then we wait for that cold front to move through, and that's a little bit of a game changer for us. We could see some low 80s, and that most of that is toward the end of our 7-day forecast. Here's what it looks like, the long range outlook. We're sunny tomorrow at 92. Rain chances, they do slip in there, but they're pretty slim on Thursday. That's a 30% with a high of 91. Look at the temperatures going down though. Friday, Saturday, best rain chances, 40%. We do think those are late day for the most part, but 86 and 84 for those 2 days. How about 83 Sunday? And then Monday, Tuesday, rain chances are almost out, 20%, a good bit cooler at 83 on Monday and 82 by Tuesday.
A company in California is taking ugly fruit that's been blemished or damaged by the weather and turning it into something healthy and delicious. It's called upcycling, and it's already making an impact.
The Ugly Company was started 5 years ago by Ben Moore after returning home from the Army. He then started driving a truck, hauling fresh fruit during the day and hauling what he calls ugly fruit that the farmers couldn't sell at night.
And we were just dumping it out because there was nowhere to take it. And so we dump about 6 to 8 million pounds of fruit a year.
After seeing just how much fruit was being wasted, he started to think about other ways the fruit could still be used.
It had kind of long, difficult process, right? But it really just started like anything else, one step at a time. And, I had this vision of, hey, there's got to be something better to do with the fruit than throw it out.
That ugly fruit goes through a process in the Ugly Company's factory in Farmersville, where the fruit is then washed, sorted, sized, and pitted. From there, the fruit is dried and becomes the snacks you see on the shelf. The method also includes some techniques his grandma from Sweden would use years ago.
The fruit, slice it thin, and she would dry it on the roof of the house. So we have a little bit different setup than a roof drying setup anymore, right? But it's basically the same exact concept because I grew up eating dried fruit that didn't have added sugars or added ingredients or anything like that.
The Ugly Company is processing about 40,000 pounds of fruit a day, and so far this year they have already ran 1.8 million pounds of different fruits through the factory. Right now, the Ugly Company sources its fruit from 4 different packing sheds. About 40 different farmers from here in the Central Valley supply those sheds. Aside from being locally sourced, the Ugly Company offers a variety of flavor options.
You know, most people have never even heard of a dried white nectarine before. Nobody's ever had a dried peach. So we have really unique flavorings and offerings of fruit. So that's awesome.
For more, it's not only a way to practice healthy snacking, the impact is far greater than that.
What we do with our product is we really empower that person at home to say, hey, you can have a healthy snack. It's awesome and great, but you're truly helping that farmer prevent food waste at his farm, and that's a really powerful thing.
Each bag of Ugly dried fruit is equal to about 1.5 pounds of fruit that otherwise would have been thrown away.
And you can check the company's website for products that they sell over there. But what a great idea.
I love this. This actually just reminded me, I went to the grocery store today and I have been trying to find more healthy snacks to eat that has fruit with them, and I found a few of them, and this just reminds me of that. I think this is a great idea.
I can't believe that much was thrown away. Like, that's a
I know, can you believe it?
Thank goodness they're doing that. He's Mr. Dried Fruit. You always have some over there.
I know, right? But I'm the same. I am maybe like everybody else. You go to the store, you look at the fruit. There's an ugly one. I'm not touching that
That's
one.
true.
I'm gonna go right past that one and find the best looking one. So I'm guilty of it.
I love their packaging says, hello, I'm ugly.
I know.
That's hilarious.
I
love that.
But I think, yeah, everybody does it to get, to get the pretty fruit.
Right.
It is true. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, mic check 1 2 3, mic check 1 2 3, mic check, mic check, mic check.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5, Eric, Chad, and Sydney. I was going to make a really horrible, corny segue, and say how hot the weather is, just like the Duke football team.
It just caught my eye behind here. I'm like, look at that.
I mean, it's incredible.
Wow.
We're kicking off this half hour with last night's huge upset, Duke's win over Clemson. The Blue Devils shocked the college football world, beating number 9 Clemson. No surprise, fans and students rushed the field after the game.
WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson has the scoop on the historic night at Wade Wallace Stadium.
September 30th, 1989, that was the last time Duke's football program beat a top-ranked team in the top 10. Back then, George H.W. Bush was president. Gas was $1.12. And ironically, 33 years ago, the Blue Devils beat number 7-ranked Clemson 21-17. Well, that streak ended last night after 12,392 days. Our team was there amongst the celebration and caught up with Duke players and head coach Mike Elko after the huge upset against Clemson.
It's crazy to think about, a couple years ago, we lost to Charlotte, home opener, and then, coming right here and beating a top 10 team and a team like Clemson. I mean, it's a great feeling, but we got to go back to work tomorrow.
It's crazy, man, to think of, we was at freshman year, 3-9 season, come around, Elko coming in, man, and just we all bought in, man. It's great. It's a great feeling. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
We came into this game believing we could win the football game. We came into this game believing that if we played the way we were capable of, we would get the result that we wanted, and we did.
I mean, it just, shows the hard work we put in. We work as hard, if not harder, than every team in the country, and tonight the results showed. I'm just happy for our guys, man. What a win for this university. I'm just really excited for our team.
We really just worked. We believed in ourselves, and we knew that no one's going to believe in us except for us, and that's all that really matters.
We've been preparing for this, man. We can't be surprised, but at the end of the day, man, that's the thing. We're trying to make a statement, but at the end of the day, we got to keep going. This is just the start. This is just the start.
To our team, it's a testimony to what you can accomplish if you put yourselves together and you're willing to give a lot to an organization. These kids work so hard. They put so much into this thing, and they just continue to fight and come together to be successful.
Wow, the chills. Oh my
so
goodness, that's all I
excited.
was feeling.
And they came in at number 21, I think, in the AP Top 25.
Yes, today they're now ranked number 21.
And where's Clemson?
They're actually 25.
Okay.
They dropped
Yes.
I was surprised they took them that far down, but that was a definite win. It wasn't like a last-second field goal.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was much like that whole crowd last night. I was very excited to see this Duke win, this big upset. But taking a day to gather my thoughts and everything about the game, this is no surprise because what Mike Elko has done with this program, he was the coach of the year last year. So we're seeing that this is no fluke, that this is what they've been trying to build, and this is the guy to lead the program.
They had votes to be in the top 25 even last week. So, they were getting, the writers are giving them credibility.
And Clemson did not look like Clemson last night.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, so, good for Duke because in the college football world, when it comes to the 3 schools in the triangle, I feel like Duke is constantly overshadowed by UNC and NC State when it comes to football. So this is them saying, hey, don't forget about us.
Yeah. Actually, I saw on Twitter last night, Mark Williams, he played basketball for the Blue Devils last year or 2 years ago. And he said, we're not a basketball school. We're not only a basketball school.
That was a big win.
That's cool.
All right, forecast is getting hot for us for the next couple of days, but we do see relief in sight, some changes coming up. For the better. We'll see some low 80s. May take us a little bit to get there, though. Let's look at these sky conditions. Notice the little symbols beside all the temperatures. That's actual streaming information. So lots of sunshine across our state and South Carolina, most of Virginia. So sunny. Richmond is at 96, Roanoke 94, the Triad 92, Wilmington at 94, Asheville 89. Always hot in Columbia, mid-90s there. 70 for that overnight low tonight. Tomorrow's high 92. It's pretty much a repeat of today with lots of sun. Rain chances start to slip back in, but it may take us another day or so before we get that. This, you can see a little bit of that rain back out to the west in Tennessee. That's a cold front that's moving in our direction, but it'll take its time to get here, right? Some of that instability ahead of the front, but the high pressure is in control for us tomorrow. It is after that that we get, by the time we get past the next couple days, we'll start to see a downward trend in our temperatures. I want you to take a look at Tropical Depression 13 because this one bears watching. Could be, in fact, should be a tropical storm by tomorrow, if not earlier. And look at the end of this forecast track, even though it's way back still to the south and east of us. But by Sunday, That could be a Category 4 with winds of 140 miles per hour. We'll keep you posted. There's a long way between us and that storm, but that's one that'll be on our radar for the next week and a half or so. Low 90s for Wednesday, Thursday. The difference is Thursday we have a rain chance, only a 30%. Best chance 40% Friday, Saturday, but cooler in the mid 80s and low 80s for a change for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Rain chances down to 20% to the start of next week.
It should come as no surprise that marijuana is the most commonly used drug in the country. While many studies have focused on the potential medicinal benefits, new research looks at a drug that curbs marijuana use for those who have become dependent on the drug.
27-year-old Roosevelt Bennett says he struggled to get tasks accomplished after becoming dependent on marijuana. He says he used the drug since he was 17.
I would smoke more often, and also I wouldn't get as much things done.
So when he learned about a drug trial to treat the overuse of marijuana, he took a chance.
The higher my tolerance got, the more I just continued to smoke.
With the growing advent of legalization of marijuana, there is this thought that people can be addicted to marijuana.
Dr. Rishi Kakkar is Chief Scientific Officer and Medical Director for Segal Trials, which is conducting the study.
It affects their function, it affects their work, it affects their learning, it affects their relationships.
Estimates show about 60 million people had cannabis use disorder in 2021, and the risk of developing dependence is higher for people who started using marijuana during adolescence. The CDC warns marijuana use could negatively impact the health of your brain, heart, and lungs. In the case of Bennett, who is a content creator, he says his productivity suffered. But after participating in the study, for which he was paid $2,000, he says he saw a marked improvement. Bennett doesn't know if he actually received the drug or a placebo, but he thinks he did.
I wasn't smoking as much. I noticed that I was getting more things accomplished, especially like I finished my website and I create more.
Bennett admits he still occasionally smokes, but not nearly as much as before, and hopes sharing his story can help others.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Thousands are finally making their way home after attending the Burning Man Festival. A summer storm created muddy roads that left partygoers stranded for days at the annual cultural festival. By Monday, the ground had dried up enough to allow them to begin their departure. A 32-year-old man died. Investigators say the cause of death is unknown, but it doesn't appear to be weather-related.
There's a recall impacting banquet frozen chicken strips meals that could contain pieces of plastic. The feds say it got a complaint about someone getting a mouth injury after eating a chicken strip that had plastic in it. The potentially contaminated products have best if used by dates of December 2024 and January 2025.
Dollar General is donating $2.5 million to Jacksonville, Florida after a gunman killed 3 people last month in an attack police say was racially motivated. One of the victims was a 19-year-old store employee. Dollar General says the donation will go toward efforts and organizations focused on healing and hope for Jacksonville. The company also said it plans to fully remodel the store.
First Lady Dr. Jill Biden tested positive for COVID. Her office says she's got mild symptoms and is expected to remain home in Delaware. The White House says President Biden tested negative and will be monitored over the next week.
The First Lady's diagnosis comes as COVID cases are spiking in the U.S. According to the CDC, COVID hospitalizations were up nearly 19% in 1 week in mid-August due to the emergence of new variants. Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team looks into whether the CDC issued a new advisory about one strain of COVID-19.
You may have seen this viral post on Facebook. It claims the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a health alert about the new XBB subvariant of COVID-19 because it's deadlier and not easily detected. Several Verify viewers reached out to ask if this alert is real. So, let's verify. Did the CDC issue a health advisory about the XBB COVID-19 subvariant? Our sources are the CDC, the World Health Organization, the American Medical Association, and Yale Medicine. The CDC maintains a health alert network which shares urgent public health information with federal, state, and local officials. It's where you'd expect to find information about an advisory, like the one circulating on Facebook, but there is no record of one about XBB. There's also no alert posted on the CDC's social media accounts. We then looked into the claims that XBB is deadlier and that there are no symptoms until it's too late, and found those are also false. According to the WHO, there are no substantial differences in disease severity for XBB infections compared to other variants. The American Medical Association says XBB has similar symptoms as other variants, including coughing, congestion, fatigue, and sore throat. So, no, the CDC did not issue a health advisory about the XBB COVID-19 subvariant, and most of the information in the post is false. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Whether you follow it or not, there's long been a fashion rule that you shouldn't wear white after Labor Day.
And for those who don't know, this fashion rule started decades ago, but do you know why? Well, the answer just might surprise you.
Reader's Digest helps us break down some of the reasons people were not supposed to wear white after Labor Day. Some experts say it's one of the many rules created by high society women in the 1880s to separate who was acceptable in society and who wasn't.
If you break any of these rules, you can't sit with us at lunch.
Through the early 1900s, the thought is you couldn't wear white if you were working class in the dirty, dusty city, but you could wear white if you were wealthy enough to escape the city to your summer vacation home. The no white after Labor Day rule picked up steam in women's fashion magazines in the 1950s. Other experts agree it's just practical. White would get too dirty in the fall and winter seasons. Remember, most fashion designers are in New York at this time, so the rule is based on their weather.
Interesting. Okay. So I could have sworn I researched this like maybe weeks ago just for myself. And I thought I saw something where someone said that it reminds you of just summer because white is like bright and summery, and if you're seen wearing white, it's like you need to move on. We're in fall now. Put it behind you.
Interesting. I've
heard something like that.
But my mother used to say that. I don't know if people really follow it. Do people still follow that, do you think?
I don't think so. Do they?
Wear white. My mom does.
Yeah, some people
She
do.
does. Yep.
One thing that I've learned over the past few years is that really all of the rules about fashion are out the window. You'll see people wearing crazy stuff at any time of year and matching anything with
Like
anything,
boots.
and I mean all the time.
Boots. I see people wearing them sometimes going like spring, and then sometimes in the summer I've seen people.
Well, I mean,
wear boots.
nowadays it's popular for men's clothing to have a patterned shirt and a patterned suit, and that's in style right now.
Right,
Some people have trouble with that.
All the rules are out the window.
They are.
Do what you want to do.
That's right. With all this in mind, I asked you on Facebook, give me your fashion pet peeves. Let me tell you, I couldn't even use some of these on the air. People let it out. Candy said socks with sandals. By the way, I heard that a lot. And then she said pants halfway down with half their underwear showing. Brenda says socks with sandals and soccer flops. I'm not quite sure what that is. Wendy says people that look poured into their clothes. And she said also brown and tan shoes with anything other than brown or khaki. And Jennifer says pajamas outside the house and socks with open-toed shoes. See, that whole socks thing is a thing. Wanda says men on TV with no ties, but top button unbuttoned. Well, Wanda, that's just for you, right here. Top one unbuttoned. Now, back in the 90s, that was popular. Remember, like Rain Man?
Oh, that's kind of coming back too.
Yeah, well, here, oh no, don't zoom in. Goodness. But that is, so the no tie thing, I've noticed that now in some network news people that they don't
I
wear
see plenty
ties.
of people not wearing ties nowadays.
Well,
but,
now, if you have me out in the weather garden,
you won't be wearing a tie.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's hot.
For me, it's like black and brown. I don't like those two colors together for some odd reason. I'm just like either do black or do brown. Don't
See,
mix
and
them.
for me, I run into that challenge because I have a tie that is black and brown stripes.
It's like sometimes when I see those, I'm like maybe that might be okay because that's how it was made. But I'm still like.
So I'm all about the socks and sandals thing. I just can't.
I don't like that either. And I know people that do it. But, for me, it's taken me a while. Now I'm in it. But brown shoes with gray suits, that's in. But for decades, that was a no-no.
Interesting.
You wore black dress shoes, but not now. It's all changed.
Well, I'll be wearing white shoes year-round, and I don't care what anybody says about it.
Perfect.
That's right.
Okay, we'll be right back.
It's time to connect the dots. Today we are taking a closer look at shopping and how it affects us. More and more stores are adding self-serve kiosks, speeding up transactions so you don't always have to wait in line. Here's what we found out.
While scanning your groceries has become the norm, it could be making some Americans more lonely. Let's connect the dots. Self-checkouts account for nearly 40% of the checkouts at U.S. grocery chains. 4 in 5 Americans report they would rather use a self-serving kiosk than deal with a human cashier. But folks are losing out on maintaining a human connection by doing so, and the trend has no sign of slowing down. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics predicts the number of cashiers nationwide is going to shrink over the next 10 years. That means about 355,000 jobs will be gone. As the world becomes more reliant on technology, experts say the little interaction at the checkout could make all the difference for some people. And that is connecting the dots.
Wow.
We were just talking about, I like talking to cashiers, you know, it's like just other people to talk to during the day. But a friend of mine told me recently, and this kind of plays into this, that she saw an elderly couple go into a Taco Bell, and she was there, but this particular Taco Bell, they had closed all the cashier registers and they had kiosks. So you go up and put, and she said, I just got the feeling that it was twofold. One is they didn't really love technology, but the other one, she said, I felt like they were like, well, there's no one to talk to.
No one to talk to.
And I don't want to mess with that screen, so they left.
I don't ever, when I go to different places and I don't like using the kiosk. I do like to just go to a cashier, but I don't ever think about it as like direct communication. I just kind of think of it as, well, I just,
casual.
You know what I mean? And just kind of go through that. But it's interesting that there might be some folks that might feel that lonely aspect of it.
I have a friend who owns a restaurant where they do kiosk, and he told me that their productivity goes up, things go through faster. So a lot of restaurants will probably do this to make more money.
Yeah.
It streamlines it.
In and out.
We'll see. All right, let's talk about our forecast with some changes coming up. And we're looking at low 90s in the short term, and some of the reporting stations even right now are higher than that. I mean, look at Burlington, 95, High Point showing the same reading, 92 Greensboro rather, 91 in Winston-Salem, and we have some upper 80s up in the foothill communities. It's going to be steamy for another day or two. I mean, you look at tomorrow, low 90s once again, overnight lows, low 70s, and plenty of sunshine. But as we head throughout the next couple of days, hopefully we'll get some relief. A cold front way back to the west eventually we'll get here. When you look at our 7-day forecast, even though rain chances pop up a little bit on Friday, Saturday to a 40%, for the most part, those are normal 30% late day shower chances, but hot in the short term in the low 90s. We'll be in the low 80s though for Sunday through Tuesday.
As Floridians work to get life back to normal after the hurricane last week, there's been rare flamingo sightings in places where they typically don't live. Experts believe the storm blew the birds off course, landing them along Florida's west coast. You can see right here this shot of several flamingos. I mean, they're just basically enjoying the beach on Treasure Island there. Florida's love affair with flamingos runs deep, with plastic yard art leading the way since its debut in 1957.
So when I lived on Florida's west coast, it was funny. Some people had fake flamingos in their yard. You know how people around here will have deer statues? They had flamingo statues, but when we had unusually cold weather, they put leg warmers on them. It was the funniest looking thing. It was like their way of saying this is cold.
I was watching this video earlier, and if I was at that beach and I saw those flamingos, I just feel like that would be so peaceful to watch.
Be awesome.
You know what I mean?
They're beautiful. You know, they're not naturally pink. They get that from the shellfish or whatever it is they eat.
Pretty interesting.
My science tip for the day. We'll be back.
Walking around. Think of a red zone like a red flag. It's a period of time when acts of violence can take place.
Hey, hope you're all having a great whatever today is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Since you're doing like D shots.
Best served.
Best served. Hi there, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana.
Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, but it's not just.
Well, it's time for my 2 cents. And if you see that logo, you probably know where I'm going today. I want to talk about Jimmy Buffett. When I heard about his passing, my heart broke. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge fan of his vibe, right? He really sold escapism and an idea, that being Margaritaville. That laid-back t-shirt, bedhead, flip-flop lifestyle is what I've always loved. Those of you that know me know that I am a beach lover. So his music always spoke to me, and his demeanor. He even said Margaritaville is a fictional place that exists in all of our minds. It's that place that we love where we go to relax, and in most cases with Buffett fans and parrot heads, it's the beach and the coast and the water. I loved it so much so that I built this, my own tiki bar, complete with, of course, Jimmy Buffett's Landshark beer, surfboard, and lots of memorabilia that I got over the years visiting different Margaritaville restaurants. I was heartbroken, and probably at least 10 times since I heard the news on Saturday, I have teared up thinking about his music and listened to it a lot. 2016 was a monumental moment for me when this happened, and Jimmy Buffett showed up at the Wyndham and sang Margaritaville in the Margaritaville at the Wyndham. I got a chance to be about 20 feet away from greatness. I watched that entire one-song concert that he did, and it meant the world to me. My memories of that stay with me today. So I will say, although Margaritaville will never go away, its captain, Jimmy, will be missed. We love you, Jimmy. All of us. Thank you for that piece of you that you gave us that will stay with us forever. And it reminds me of one song, which I just discovered recently, a slow song that he sang called I Wave Bye Bye. And the last lyrics were, we only sailed in circles, so there's no reason to cry. I will see